Okay, so what happened in 2022? Why did he lose the election?
Then I have to take care about my words because in Brazil, depending on what you talk, you can be considered anti-democratic. To talk to the Americans here that are watching us, remember that Trump in Georgia, he was the mugshot because he was talking about the election process.
Yep.
Oh, this is. But you have a bunch of videos of Hillary Clinton and some other people from the Democratic Party saying that they do not trust in the election. Maybe the 2016 election wasn't 100% trustable. But with Trump, things change. So with us, things changes in Brazil too. And we have a target on our head. So I have to take care about what I'm going to say to do not have problems when I come back home. In 2022 elections, there are two theories. One theory is the machines that we use to vote, because in Brazil it's fully electronic. You go to a machine developed by the government and you dial the number of your candidate. For example, the number of my father was 22. Our party number is 22. So you want to vote for Bolsonaro, you dial 22 and press the green button. That's it. And then you pray for God that someone in the capital, the bureaucrats, are going to count your vote properly. But you do not receive, you don't have a way to recount that. You don't have a way to audit that. You just go home and that's it. Pretty much like in Venezuela. In Venezuela, they have a similar system of Brazil. And in 2022, I'm not going to talk about...
We also have to be careful about discussing such things here, and it's more a consequence of lawsuits. And so I was warned before the interview started to tread very lightly on the territory that we're investigating now. And it seems to me that independently of the reliability and validity of the electronic voting process, these are problems that you just don't have with paper ballots, because there they are and you can recount them. And so to give the devil his due, you can certainly understand that if electronic voting machines had a track record that was as solid as paper, they're more efficient and can be tabulated faster. But the truth of the matter is we don't know anything about this new technology, right? And you introduce a radically new technology into the process that determines your political electorate at your peril, right? And so conservatives know such things, unintended consequences. Okay, so with that side, back to the election.
I'll not talk about this theory, all right? Let's say that our machine is 100% fully trustable.
Yeah.
But still, in Brazil, who organize the elections, who coordinate the elections, and who judge everything about the elections in Brazil is a court called Superior Electoral Court. I will say only electoral court, referring myself to this court. Who is on the head of this court? Who is the president, the chairman of this electoral court? Is a justice from the Supreme Court. His name is Alexandre de Moraes. On 2022, it was Alexandre de Moraes. This is the name that I would like you to save on your mind. Alexandre de Moraes. This man, he has a personal problem with my father and with our family. He did a lot of interventions in the executive power and sometimes even in the legislative, in the Congress. And he was on
This was during your father's administration?
Yes. During my father's administration, we had a lot of conflicts with him. So he was on the head of this electoral court. So this electoral court, you had ridiculous decisions such as my father could not open a live streaming from his cell phone at his house. Why? They say that because all the other candidates, they do not have a house, a public house paid with public money. Because when you're president, you live in the White House. Who paid the rent of the White House? Who paid the energy and the water of the White House is a taxpayer. So the reason that they found to avoid Jair Bolsonaro was forbidden to broadcast from his house. So if he would like to start live streaming from his Facebook, he would get a car, get out of his house, and start a live streaming. This is a point to you understand how ridiculous was the decision during this period of time. And more than that, we could not say some words to define our oppositor, Lula da Silva. There is the number one conservative media in Brazil is called Jovem Pan. Jovem Pan, they received an order saying that they cannot refer, the journalists of Jovem Pan could not say that Lula is a criminal, is a thief, or that he was unconvicted from the convictions that he had in the past. Because Lula da Silva, the current president, the Supreme Court, he was convicted for laundering money and corruption in the past. But 2 years before the election, they overturned all of that and let Lula da Silva run for president. And all of the establishment was in favor of his election, very clearly. So this is how the election happened in Brazil. So I can tell you, even if you believe that our machines that we use to vote is 100% okay, 100% trustable, it wasn't a fair election. Because basically...
How close was the margin?
My father made 49.1 or 2%. Lula made 49.51.
Right, so really
2%.
Split down the middle, eh? Really close, tight margins. Yeah, well, any election where there's tight margins like that, it's also, you could imagine that even a well-run political system is, what would you say, corrupt 1%. And if the margin is 1%, that makes things very awkward.